Hey guys, happy Sunday morning. I hope all is well in your world. It is all well here at Enough Said Sports as we come to you on this Sunday morning with an NBA Finals preview and prediction between the Phoenix Suns going up against those Milwaukee Bucks. I'm sure most of you did not have this as your Finals preview and prediction at the beginning of the season, but here we are. We have two teams with both teams have players on them. None of the players on either team is what I should say. None of the players on either team have ever won an NBA championship. So this is going to be fun to say the least, and it's definitely a really, really interesting matchup. Now, I spent a lot of time, guys. I'm a little bit later getting this video out than I wanted to be. I spent a lot of time on this, and I really kind of had the answer last night. But I wanted to go back this morning and do a deeper dive even than I did last night. Watch some more film, look at some more things, look at matchups, look at tendencies, coaching-wise, look at all of that stuff because I was really, really surprised at what I ended up coming up with. But with that being said, I'm going to frame up really quick my thoughts on the entire series, and that is going to be that I believe in this series that the Milwaukee Bucks have a decided advantage over the Phoenix Suns. I think public perception is that the Phoenix Suns are just going to show up and take care of the Milwaukee Bucks and beat them fairly easily. I believe that public perception is probably wrong in this case. Not probably, I believe it is wrong. I believe the Milwaukee Bucks are extremely formidable. And they match up very, very well with this Phoenix Suns team. And when I looked at this thing and looked across the board, there isn't one single thing that the Phoenix Suns do better than the Milwaukee Bucks as far as from a matchup standpoint. They don't really have an advantage anywhere. I would say they may, I guess you could say they got an advantage at center with Ayton. But Ayton and Brook Lopez bring you two totally different, things, and they bring two totally different skill sets to the game. They're very, very different. I think that the Milwaukee Bucks' size in this matchup is going to be a huge problem for the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns are a little bit small for this matchup. And I think it's going to end up being a problem for them. And I'm going to tell you why. So one thing that I think that the Milwaukee Bucks discovered up against the Atlanta Hawks was that instead of running that drop coverage to go ahead and just switch everything. The reason why Milwaukee Bucks did not want to switch everything is because it made them vulnerable on the other end. And what I mean by that is when they switched, and you have a big like Brook Lopez guarding your point guard, then you have a Drew Holiday guarding Clint Capella in the case of the Hawks series, or a John Collins or a Danilo Gallinari. And that's a real problem because the Atlanta Hawks were very, very good at posting up the smaller man and scoring down there. John Collins was highly efficient at it. Danilo Gallinari was certainly efficient at it. He was a thorn in the Milwaukee Bucks side this entire series because when they switched, they definitely took advantage of that fact. The problem that I see with the Phoenix Suns is that they only have one post player that can take advantage of a smaller player, and that is DeAndre Ayton. Jay Crowder does not post up. Mikal Bridges does not post up. Devin Booker somewhat, but not really. He more post up in the mid-range area if he does at all. But with all that being said, the size advantage is not going to be as big of an advantage for the Phoenix Suns in those situations where the small ends up on a big. Okay, so that's one problem that I see. So I see the Milwaukee Bucks learning from what they did against the Atlanta Hawks. I believe they'll switch everything and live with the results. Now, will Chris Paul and Devin Booker still be able to get their points? Sure they will. They're excellent shooters. I think that, they're still going to score. They're still going to be able to do what they need to do to get their points. But with that being said, you really don't hurt the Milwaukee Bucks the way that the Atlanta Hawks were able to hurt them in those matchups that way. So you got that. I think the length of the Milwaukee Bucks and them being able to go into the painted area with regularity, they're just a really big team. And even without Giannis right now, they're very, very hard to deal with down low. Drew Holiday can get to the basket at will. And if you help off of Brook Lopez, you're going to end up, he's going to end up dunking the ball on you an awful lot. Same with Bobby Portis as well. They're just a very, very large team, and it's going to be very difficult for the Suns, I believe, to keep them from the rim in the painted area. And I think it's going to be a major, major issue for them. And I don't see where they have an answer. DeAndre Ayton is one guy. Dario Saric is not that big. And I just think it's going to be a major problem. Now, I don't think you're going to see Giannis back in this series until Game 3 of this series when they go back to Milwaukee. I believe Giannis probably, from everything that I'm reading, it's hard to know, but from everything that I'm reading, he probably could have gone last night. I think he's probably still a little bit sore, but the soreness is fading quickly. But I think that they will hold Giannis out until Game 3 because I think that they feel like they match up very, very well with this Phoenix Suns team, and I actually agree with them. I think they match up very well size-wise. I think they're going to be able to defend the Suns pretty well. And I think a huge advantage that the Phoenix Suns had over the LA Clippers, especially when Zubats went down, was that the offensive glass. I mean, DeAndre Ayton owned the offensive glass in the closeout game in Game 6. And in reality, that was the difference. I mean, he just beat him up on the glass, and they were able to get a ton of second chance points. They're not going to have that opportunity here. I think the Atlanta Hawks are a much better offensive rebounding team than the Phoenix Suns are due to John Collins' athleticism, along with Clint Capella being a kind of a lighter weight guy. He's very athletic, and he gets up off the floor quicker than DeAndre Ayton does. And I think a lot of those offensive rebounds were born out of athleticism from the Atlanta Hawks that I don't believe the Phoenix Suns have. Mikal Bridges is not overly athletic. Jay Crowder is not overly athletic. Of course, Devin Booker is a superstar, but he's not a big that's going to be down there banging for rebounds. So I think that's going to be a major thing for the Suns, that they're not going to get those whole bunch of second chance opportunities there. They shoot the three fairly well. They're not great at it. So I don't really see an advantage there either. And I actually am really surprised that the Milwaukee Bucks are underdogs in this series. They probably shouldn't be underdogs in this series. This is going to be a battle for the Phoenix Suns, and an uphill battle at that. Another thing that concerns me is Chris Paul's wrist. He's got some torn ligaments in his right wrist. He is getting better. Thankfully, they were able to get some rest because they were able to go ahead and close out the LA Clippers and, be able to get him some extra rest. Also, Devin Booker's nose. I wonder, he probably won't wear the mask. Hopefully, he does not have to because that mask really does affect him quite a bit, or it seemed to really bother his shot. So, with all that being said, I think those things also play a factor. And I think that the Bucks are just as formidable without Giannis as they are with Giannis, to be honest with you. They play very differently. They move the ball more. There's a little bit more better spacing on the floor because you got more shooting on the floor, which allows driving lanes for people such as Drew Holiday, allows Chris Middleton to go to the rim more. Bobby Portis is very, very good off the bounce for a big guy. Brook Lopez is very good down low. So it's going to be a battle for the Phoenix Suns, and I think they're going to have a very tough time stopping this team. And when I look a little closer at the Phoenix Suns as well. If AD and LeBron are healthy, they probably don't make it out of that series. It ended up taking them 6 games with LeBron and AD being banged up the way that they were. I think that was the difference in that series. They got to play a Nuggets team without Jamal Murray. I still think they probably would have beaten the Nuggets, but it certainly wouldn't have been a sweep. And let's just face it, guys, and if we're being really honest and objective here, if Kawhi Leonard plays for the LA Clippers in that series, the Phoenix Suns are at home today and they're not in the NBA Finals. So with all that being said, guys, I think the Phoenix Suns are a very, very good team. I don't think they got enough. I know this is a shocker, probably to a lot of you who have probably assumed that the Phoenix Suns would win. I actually personally assumed that the Phoenix Suns would win this series before I studied it. But when I looked at the tape and I looked at the breakdown of the way these two teams match up, this is not a good thing for the Phoenix Suns. Size bothers the Phoenix Suns, which is why they were having so much trouble with the LA Lakers prior to Anthony Davis going down. They struggle with bigger teams, and the Milwaukee Bucks are big and they're very skilled. And I think when they get Giannis back in the mix, that's just going to enhance what they're able to do that much more. I think this was actually a blessing in disguise for the Milwaukee Bucks, for them to be able to play without Giannis for a little while and kind of find themselves a little bit. And when they get Giannis back in the fold, I think it's just going to enhance what they're able to do. I don't see them playing drop coverage on the pick and roll with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. I think they're going to switch everything, realizing that really DeAndre Ayton is the only one that can really hurt you down low. And, I think they collapse down on him if he ends up getting the ball rolling to the basket and possibly give up an open look from three. But I don't think the Mikal Bridges of the world and guys like that, Jay Crowders of the world, can consistently knock down three-pointers enough to be able to win this series. So I'm going to shock you here. I got the Bucks in 5. I think Milwaukee is going to get this thing done and done quickly. It's just not a good matchup for the Phoenix Suns. It just isn't. I think that the Brooklyn Nets would have been a better matchup for this Phoenix Suns team, honestly, because they don't have all that size to deal with, and they play a lot smaller. And I think even the Philadelphia 76ers would have been a better matchup for them as well. Even though they do have the one big in Joel Embiid, they kind of play small. This Bucks team, the only hope for the Phoenix Suns is that the Bucks fall in love with the three-pointer and quit going to the paint area, because they're not going to have any answers down there. They're going to be in a similar situation as the Atlanta Hawks were in. Now, granted, DeAndre Ayton is a much better defensive center than Clint Capella is, but DeAndre Ayton is one guy, and he's not going to be able to deal with all that size all by himself. So it'll be interesting to see if Monty Williams makes an adjustment. One thing that I do see that he could possibly do is possibly get Frank Kaminsky some minutes because he does provide some size, and it would help out with rebounding. So it'll be interesting to see if Monty Williams makes that adjustment as this series goes on and see how that affects things. I think the Suns have a much better chance if they play Frank Kaminsky bigger minutes instead of Jay Crowder. But that's just, my opinion. So we'll see what happens, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm sure the comments are going to be real spicy on this one. And I'm sure a ton of you are going to disagree with me. But we don't do fandom here, guys. Remember that. I like the Phoenix Suns. I'd rather see the Phoenix Suns win. I really would. I'm a fan of Devin Booker. I'm a fan of CP3. I'd rather see them do it. I would love to see it for the city of Phoenix. But we're objective. And based on the analysis, guys, it ain't looking good for the home team. I got the Bucks in 5. Let me know what you think. Appreciate all the support. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Keep on pushing. Keep on letting your people around you know about us. And we're going to keep on growing and doing big things. We're really excited. So thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you soon. Have a great 4th of July and a happy Sunday to you. And enjoy your families and friends. Have a great one and be safe with the fireworks. Take care, guys.